XiaoYuKiko. She will be taking the stage and we will be having a dialogue session on what it's like to be a full-time cosplayer in Singapore. So this is definitely something that a lot of people are interested to find out about because it is not one of those, I guess you want to say, traditional jobs that most of our parents would have approved of, right? So we have all of these burning questions that we would like to ask her. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together with me to welcome her on stage, XiaoYuKiko. All right. I think before we start on a more serious note when it comes to your cosplaying journey and all that, I think my first question to you is how's the weather under your wig?
Actually, I kind of got used to this already. Wearing a wig to events, and right now I'm in an aircon room, so it's actually okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's really great. Okay, so the very first question that we have prepared for you actually is, what did you study in school? And then what made you decide that actually I want to do cosplaying full time?
Alright, so I actually studied Chinese in school, and still remember back then in school I already started cosplaying, and my friends was like, hey, you're getting invited to places and getting jobs, why don't you make it a full-time career? Like you can do that as a full-time. And I was like, no, I don't think so. Like I want to continue studying until I because back then I wanted to become a Chinese teacher. Yeah, so eventually when I graduated and just as COVID hit, so it was kind of like not very easy to find a job during COVID period, and I have been taking up jobs in cosplay already, so I was like, hey, why don't I give myself a shot and try to make this a full-time, and yeah, that's how it went.
So I think you really took it in your court, right?
Yeah.
COVID, in a sense, helped you launch into doing this full time.
Yeah. It kind of gave me the thought that I can try, since I couldn't, because of COVID period, it's hard to find a job. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And you mentioned that while you were in school, you were already cosplaying, right? So what was that interest? How did this interest in cosplaying start in the first place?
So I have been a huge anime fan since I'm very young, and then I remember when I was in primary school, I already have friends who does cosplay. I go to events. So it's until I went to, after my O-levels, my classmates invited me to, hey, let's go cosplay together to an anime convention, and that is how I started pick up this hobby. Yeah.
Okay, this is a very good word that a lot of our speakers have used, hobbies and passion, and we have a lot of speakers today sharing about how you can actually work with your passion, on what you're passionate about, because I think a lot of people are very scared on, oh, I don't think I can really do what I truly am passionate about, because what if it's not able to pay the bills? Or what would my parents say, and all these kind of stuff. So maybe you would like to share your own personal journey on how you were able to, I guess, overcome, and how was your communication with your parents when you decided that, hey mom, hey dad, I think I'm gonna give this a try. I'm gonna be a cosplayer instead of a Chinese teacher.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people want to make their hobby, their interest, into a career, and hopefully they can make a passion into something that they can live off. I think that's why everybody, which I'm really grateful that I got this opportunity to make it a reality. But a lot of people also face a lot of difficulties, like how to pay the bills. That's definitely one huge question. And also I feel to most people who are doing art in Singapore, be it performance art or whatever sort of creative work, it's quite hard to survive in Singapore because of all sorts of reasons. So my one big suggestion would be to always start as a side hustle, just do it as a hobby, and try out this. Maybe you can give it a shot while you are doing your usual job. Like me, I was still studying, but I already had job scopes outside, doing it until I graduated. Then that's when I hey, it's good enough that I can make a full-time career out of it. So definitely don't just jump straight into, hey, I want to do this right now, but give yourself some time to make it a side hustle first. Yes.
So basically test the waters, see if it works. All right, that's great. And I guess that means you've been doing this for about 3+ years full time.
Yes, correct.
And what would you say is your favorite part about cosplaying?
I think I definitely enjoy cosplay as a hobby a lot because it's a bring to the characters into real life and it brings a lot of joy to all sorts of people. But one huge takeaway I had from cosplay would be I feel I grew a lot as a person. For example, I gained a lot of work experience, and also how to interact with people, how to socialize, how to talk to clients. Things like that are experiences that my fellow classmates or schoolmates will not have gotten if not because I had cosplay. Like I would be the same as them as well. So I think that development as a character is a huge takeaway. Yes.
And that's great. And I think a lot of people here would also be interested to find out since it started off as a hobby, right? You were going to cosplay anime events, dressed up, and then you mentioned that you landed your first job. You started getting booked for events, right?
Yeah.
So how does that work? Can you maybe share a bit more about that?
Okay, so my first gig came in around 4 months of me starting to cosplay. So it was a very funny incident. It was actually a event hosted by Harvey Norman. Yeah, it's a anime convention. It's a small anime convention hosted by Harvey Norman, and they invited like a very famous Hong Kong cosplayer. I think some of you guys may know her, Siu Tao, to the event, and I was there as just a local cosplay appearance. So I'm the small fry, she's the big fry. Yeah. So it was just like the first this kind of job that came in that gave me an idea like, hey, this cosplay hobby of mine, it could sustain itself at least, It's not, maybe I couldn't earn enough to survive back then, but hey, at least I can use the money I got to buy more costumes. I can continue this hobby on without asking my parents for money, so that was a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really good note because a lot of people, they say that, I don't have enough money to do my passion, especially I think in the arts, But it's about being resourceful, and you never know when your first client is going to come. Definitely unexpected for you, but things have turned out really great, right? Okay, so I guess let's move into the more controversial question. I think everyone will be interested to know more or less, let's say on a monthly average, how much do you earn in a month, if you don't mind sharing the details with us?
As a freelancer, I of course don't have a fixed salary, but so there's like lows and highs, but on average, around above 5K minimum for a month. Yeah.
On average, yeah? And in terms of like getting quotes and giving quotes to clients and getting your jobs, you mentioned that there's some highs, some lows. So I heard here, so these are questions that have been prepared. Yeah, I'm not trying to, dig a hole for myself, but actually it's a really interesting question. We would like to know, what is one gig that you were paid the most for, and what was the job about?
Okay, so I couldn't reveal the exact details, but it was working with a game company, and it was about doing some advertisements, also like some filming of a TV ad, things like that, and that job, I couldn't reveal exactly how much because of the NDA, but that was the most highest paying job I ever got. It was like last year. Yeah.
So it was for a gaming event,
It was a gaming, it's a game,
right.
Advertising for the game.
Oh, advertising for the game, alright. So we will open up to questions later on, but the next question that we have is, what would you tell someone who probably is interested to start a career in cosplaying? Like, what advice would you give them?
I think in terms of cosplay as a hobby, I definitely say just be courageous and just be brave to do it. Because when I first heard of cosplay was in primary school, like I said. I waited until I graduated from secondary school Then I started. It was because I was too shy. I really liked the cosplay, but I was too shy, scared of people looking at me weird, and just didn't have the courage to pick up the hobby until my friends pushed me for it. So if you like something, definitely just give it a shot. I mean, it's your life. If you like something, just do it. And in terms of as a career-wise, I definitely suggest everyone to take it as a side hustle first. Then only dwell into it full time when it's good enough for you to survive off, because we all need money to survive. Yeah. Then one more thing is, of course, that to know that cosplay as a career is not just about cosplaying anymore. There's a lot more to this job than just putting out a costume. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that there's a lot more to it than just putting on a costume, right? And you mentioned also that you enjoyed bringing the characters back to life. So would you say you sort of have like a favorite character that you enjoy the most?
My favorite character right now is definitely Ganyu from Genshin Impact.
Does anyone know who that is? Okay,
Ganyu?
I see hands. Yes, I see hands and I see nods over there. Right. And what would you say? You mentioned also that sometimes you were worried about people looking at you funny and judging you and all those type of stuff. So, what are the major misconceptions when it comes to cosplaying in general?
Cosplay in general. I get this feeling from people that they feel cosplay is for people who are neeks, which is kind of true because we all like anime, like gaming, like to stay at home. It's like not a very atas hobby, I would say. Yeah. And also a lot of people think that hey, it's just a bunch of kids wearing weird clothes to the street. Yeah. Well, cosplay it does has like its fun part. There's also parts of it where it's about like bring the character to life. It's also some sort of like art style. Some people do dances in cosplay. Some people sing, and it's just like a performance. Yeah. So it's not just about putting on a costume like Halloween. It's not just that. Yeah. Then when it comes to cosplay as a career, as a full-time cosplayer. I think the biggest misconception that I just now mentioned was that it's just about putting on a costume. It's not, yeah. Cosplay only takes up a small portion of my daily job. Majority of the time I'm like answering to meetings, rushing for deadlines, projects to complete as well. And of course, as any freelancer, I have to do my taxes. And it's been very painful. I haven't, nobody taught me, so I had to learn it myself. And yeah, like talking to clients and stuff, as a person who just graduated, I mean, what kind of work experience do I have to handle it myself? I have to ask people as well, hey, how should I do this? How should I do that? So there's definitely a lot more than just putting on a costume, yeah.
All right, thank you very much for sharing. And I think last question from me would be, have you actually been in a situation, for example, where someone just right in front of your face insulted you or said something negative about you in cosplaying, and how did you respond to that?
Actually so far all my fans have been very nice to me. They have been extremely supportive. If any of like so-called what you said, like it's more like harassment. Like sometimes there are fans who are very crazy and want to approach you. I also had cases where there are fans who wanted to stalk me home, things like that. So it's more like that, less of people scolding me in my face. Yeah, there's negative comments online sometimes, and to handle those, usually I just delete. Yeah. Yeah, it's like on the internet, there are people who are rude and not very considerate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think regardless of what you do, be it you do something or you don't do something, people will always talk, be it negative or positive. So I guess, deleting those negative comments and feedback and just focusing on the positive, like fans who are super supportive, I think that's what keeps you going as well, right?
Yeah. I think sometimes there are like criticisms as well, like good criticisms that I'll taking as well. But sometimes it's just pure rude comments and just no. Yeah.
All right, now before we open the questions to the floor, final thing, where do you see yourself, I guess, as a cosplayer, or especially since this is somewhat your first full-time job since graduating, right? Do you see yourself cosplaying in the future, let's say 3 to 5 years down the road, or is there any other dreams or aspirations that you wish to pursue?
Okay. I don't see myself still cosplaying 3 to 5 years down the road. And I also have bigger goals for myself in terms of cosplay because right now I've been flying around in Southeast Asia. I do hope to go towards the northern hemisphere, maybe like Japan, China, Taiwan, those kind of areas. So I still have some goals that I haven't completed yet. And of course, there's also other things related to ACG, which is the community that I hope to do in the future. I haven't had solid plans yet, so I'm not gonna reveal it too much. Yeah.
So stay tuned, basically.
Yes, stay tuned.
And okay, promise is my last question from my side. If we want to look for you online, where can we find you? What do we type?
Okay, you guys can find me on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook at XiaoYuKiko. XiaoYuKiko.
So it's exactly as per the spelling at the back.
Yeah.
Alright, so you stay on your seat. I'm gonna open the question now to the floor. We'll see how much time we have, but any show of hands, does anyone have questions about, I guess, cosplaying in general, especially in Singapore? Or if you would like to find out more about our dear XiaoYuKiko. Any questions? Alright, we have a first question over here from George. Hi George, what's your name? Oh wait, so what's your name? Your name is George. What question do you have over here?
No nervous, huh? Hi, XiaoYuKiko. Okay, so 2 questions from me, very simple. Number 1, why you chose the name XiaoYuKiko? How did the name come about? Because there's a class 95 DJ called Yukiko, right? Okay, so why Yukiko? Okay, second question. How much have you spent in total on your costumes, and how many costumes do you have in order to cosplay? Yeah, it's because that can be quite hefty.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Okay, first one, what's my name XiaoYuKiko? It's actually in Chinese. So XiaoYu refers to small fish. It refers to my horoscope. Then Kiko is just a name I came up with because of a character in the game. Yeah. Then how much have I spent on costume? That's a very good question. When I do my accounting, I do have to take in my costs, right? For last year, I spent about 20K on costumes. Yeah, it does cost a lot, yes, cosplay costumes, yeah.
That's the capital besides the talent, right? Okay, thank you very much for answering those questions. Do we have any other from our audience? Maybe curiosity as freelancers, you know. Okay, we have another question here. Hi sir, your name is?
Hi, I'm Shen. So my question is, what are your job, right? What motivates you, and what are your greatest joy and challenges, and what will you say to aspiring cosplayers?
Greatest joy. It's definitely going to events and meet my fans and see like everyone really liked what I do. That is definitely my greatest joy. Then challenges. It's not easy to just jump into the cosplay industry because when I joined, there's already a lot of cosplayers who are very famous. So what makes me different, you know? Things like that are my challenges. How to make myself different, how to make myself stand out to clients. What's the other question? I'm sorry.
What suggestions will you give to aspiring cosplayers?
Don't give up because if you are doing an unconventional career path, you will face a lot of resistance. Like in Chinese, 他们说路是人走出来的. So if you do something that's unusual, nobody has done it before, then a lot of people will question your friends, your family. So it's time to believe in yourself, and so you can convince and communicate to your people around you that you will continue to do it and make a right choice. But of course, you also have to listen to the critics that it might not be a good choice and how you can prevent the worst outcomes. Yes.
Alright, we have another question.
Hi, so as a freelancer and a student myself, I just like to ask, how do you take opportunities from different clients or different companies to reach out to you? And another thing, how do you actually value yourself? How much you quote clients? That's something very important for freelancers.
Okay, so first question is how I let my clients find me, right?
Yes. How do you get clients to reach out to you, or do you reach out to clients as a freelancer?
Yes. So in the beginning, like I said, my first job, it was the client who came towards me. Yeah. Then later on, when I try to look for jobs, it's more like I try to approach clients. I try to pitch myself to them that you have this event or this product, maybe I can help you to promote. And with more work experience, more people will find you. Like, oh, this so my influencer is able to do this, then oh, maybe they can do this for our brand, for our event also. So that's kind of how more and more clients will find you. Then what is the second question again?
As like a freelancer, how do you value yourself? Because I see myself very difficult, like struggling to value myself, or how do I put myself onto the market, like in terms of price, in terms of rates and quotations.
Yes, definitely. So in the beginning, of course, it's more of it was not a high pay, and I don't really have much sales. So, but as you grow, you know, you kind of like notice, hey, if I continue to pick up this job at let's say this amount, I don't have time anymore. So I have to prioritize those that are more paying more, you know, and that's how you start to increase your rates. Yeah.
Would you say that you volunteer more than, meaning that you're doing it as for free for others, and you're basically getting the experience and the so-called portfolio to actually be able to showcase to other clients for you to
Not really, actually. Yeah. So since the beginning, it's more of like the client won't pay a lot, but like I will just take it because you know if not because of this, I don't have any job to do. You know. But as I got more well known in terms of doing this kind of jobs, people come and find me. So I'll take up the job, for example, for X amount. But eventually, when my schedule got too full, then I really have to up the price. So that's so eventually it got to the price I'm earning now. Yes.
Supply and demand. All right, we have a question over at the front. We've had two gentlemen, and next one.
Hello, my name is Rachel. I'm asking as a fellow cosplayer, how did you start monetization of your content, and do you struggle with work-life balance?
Work-life balance. Okay. Like I said, it was just this opportunity that came towards me, and actually, I actually started monetizing was I think 2018. I started cosplay in 2017. You see, my first event invitation came in 2017. Then it was until around 2018, like I started to sell my own merchandise, like cosplay posters, photo books, things like that. So it came as a very gradual. It's not like I came in, I want to monetize. It's more of, oh, this opportunity arise, you know, I can set up a booth at Cosfest, then hey, I took it up. Yeah, it's just like that. What's the second question?
Second question.
How do you struggle with work-life balance?
I definitely do. I think because my line of work is more of online, right? I work from home basically every day, and everyone who's been to work from home will understand that it's hard to keep a work-life balance. Every day is like wake up and do work and then sleep, you know, that kind of feeling. So sometimes it does get quite busy, and my friends also tell me that, hey, you should take a break, yeah, things like that. So I'm still working on it, work-life balance.
Everything is a work in progress. Thank you very much for the question, Rachel. We have a question over at the front.
Oh yeah, I heard from XiaoYu that she received numerous jobs. So I'm just curious, on average, how much she received per job? And then the second question is, I seldom see her cosplaying in the sailor uniform. So would she be cosplaying in the sailor uniform in future more often?
Okay, I think for the first question, XiaoYu has already gave a general ballpark figure of 5,000 per month on average.
Well, I mean the individual job, not the gross.
Okay,
XiaoYu,
so there is this thing called NDA in our industry. Basically, clients don't want us to go talk about the details of the job and how much you get paid. Like for example, I don't think I'm allowed to reveal how much I'm paid for this event.
Just a rough estimation.
It's not really coming yet. Really sorry. Thank you.
And I guess the second question is maybe let's just tweak the question a bit more to what are your upcoming projects that we can look forward to that you can share with us.
Okay. So upcoming in June, I'll be going to Indonesia for an event and also Thailand for another event. So these two are the upcoming projects I'm doing. Then of course in July, I bet everybody know here already, Creator Superfest by AFA. I will be there. So hope to see you guys there. Yes.
Alright, and on that note, we'd like to thank XiaoYuKiko very much for joining us in this dialogue session.